Here we go. Essential Credentials, episode 64. This is the one, the only episode 64. There's only going to be one. This is it, episode 64. We're going to be talking about SPX. We actually made a notepad and we shared it amongst the whole group so that we could have topics to discuss that were relevant. So we are progressing as a podcast and as a channel. I'm proud of all of us. So I would like to pass it on to Matt to say hello.
What's up, everybody? Ooh, oh, that's going to be fun. I don't know who that is.
That's you, Matt.
I just got my same mic. How about now? Yeah, I don't hear it now.
What about now?
Nope.
Gone?
We are having the technical issue episode part 2, and I'm just going to roll with it. I'll do my intro, Greg. But to bounce off what Greg is saying, for the few people that have done responses to the 500 subscriber giveaway, they've all had some really good ideas as far as, for what we should talk about on the podcast. I'm really excited to dive into those once that's all wrapped up. I've really enjoyed hearing those responses. So, yeah, happy to be here. I watched Top Gun Maverick last night. I was smiling the entire time. So I'm out here to tell everybody to go watch it because it's amazing. So good. And when Quentin Tarantino says that it's an amazing movie, you know that it's good, right?
I did see that.
So how are you, Alan?
Doing good. Trying to figure out whether I should buy a baseball card or not. A baseball card that I can't afford. What's new?
Yeah. What can you sell now, right?
What can I sell? Exactly. I mean, I have been selling a little bit more. It's one of the things we put on our list to talk about, but I did sell a Bonds autograph, a high-end one. I think the first high-end Bonds autograph that I've sold away. So that kind of like you have to say goodbye to a card you like or a card you like more, basically.
Gregory, are you with us?
Yeah, I am. Sorry. I'm struggling. What card did you buy? What card did you sell?
The card that I bought was the one we showed last episode, the one from Nashville. So I guess I still have that here on my desks as yet unprocessed. And I like this one more than the Triple Threads autograph. It's a sticker auto. That's the thing. And it was another Bonds collector who pointed out to me that the auto itself was kind of bubbling. Like it was not fading so much as it looked like it was sort of lifting a little bit off of the foil sticker. And given how much of a stickler I am now about like auto quality, that bothered me. So I decided to move that. And I have 2 other major autographs I am eventually going to sell for that same reason, which is that the ink itself doesn't look as amazing as I want it to.
Okay, I got you. Will you show that card again? I'll make you big.
Yes, the card. I'll show you the card that I'm selling. In fact, I have it.
Greg, while he's grabbing that, I'm kind of curious, like, even if it's rare sticker autos, like, do you tend to shy away from those, even if it's a super rare card, or will you be swayed that way from time to time?
All right. So in that instance right there, I would be good. Just because that's, out of 18, that's just a beautiful card. So in that instance, I would be good with that. There are times where I'm looking at a Larry Bird. Oh, there you go. There's on card. That is from Nashville. That's Nashville. That's Nashville hot chicken right there.
Yep. There's one of these on eBay right now, actually. Everything comes in bunches. So I'm curious to see where it's going to end.
How many days does it have left?
I think it has like 3 days left.
Okay.
I really wanted this, so I think I overpaid, quote unquote. I don't think the auction is going to end where I paid, but it doesn't matter because this card is one of the ones it's one of my favorite Bonds autographs.
Okay. So you think it's going to go for under what you paid?
I think it's going to go for several hundred under what I paid, but wow. I mean, I could be wrong. There's another Bonds autograph right now out of 25 that I made a pretty big offer on, and I'm going back and looking on Maven.io, which is kind of the best approximation of the old PWCC search engine. Look at gold prices, and prices are all over the place for bonds for a card that is numbered out of 25. So I got a counter offer that I think is fair. I think that I could go back and offer what I originally offered because it was so high and take the card. But the question is now, do I want to do that? You know, like I'm not as liquid as I normally am. So I think it's probably a bad idea. I should probably wait.
So don't you have 2 of those glove cards?
I do. You know, I actually like the one that I had before a little bit more, but it's not numbered is the problem. So the glove swatch is absolutely sick. And the ink itself is also perfect. But this is pack pulled. So there's something to be said for that. I'm a little bit torn. But yes, I mean, I have things that I don't, you know, I was just going through my boxes yesterday or the day before and just got to see the enormity of the collection that I've amassed. And it was an awesome sight. It's great to sort of take in what you've done so far, but there's a lot of stuff out there that I really don't need. And so it's a good point that I have kind of a duplicate of this card. So if I needed to move off of one to pay for a card in the future, or more likely to pay for a card that I've already bought, that's something I should still consider doing.
Yeah, that seems to be the case for most of us, where we buy something first and then we try to backfill the price that we paid. And we're like, how are we going to receive this cash that is now gone?
Yep.
That's a great point, man.
Have you done that, Matt? Have you just bought something and like, I'll figure out how to pay for it later?
There's one card. I've talked about the Thanos card. When that thing comes up, I'm going to have to buy if it's in the right price range and figure it out later, because I don't think I'm going to have time to dilly-dally if there's like that buy it now price that's in the range. You know what I mean? Like when it shows up, you're like, you just do it and figure it out.
Yeah, that's what you have the credit card for. And you throw it on there and you're like, I will pay this off. I will take care of it, but not today. And so it needs to be taken care of. So there are cards that fall within that category where you're like, I'm going to get this card. And regardless of what it takes, I'm getting it and I will figure out how to pay for it. But yeah, you've got 2 of the glove, 20. One's not numbered. That's correct?
Yes. That's right. One's not numbered.
Okay. And your triple threads is sick. Like Matt and I were talking about the sticker auto. I don't mind a sticker auto. Let me get you big. I don't mind a sticker auto, especially if it looks like that and it's got the holographic shine. I think that's pretty cool. I don't like the clear ones.
Yeah. This is a pretty card and a pretty auto, like you were saying. That was the reason I bought it, for the auto itself. And it's also centered. None of it is cut off. It's among the autographs in this style. It's one of his better ones. Yeah. I mean, I don't want to bag on this card too much. I bought it for a reason. I typically go for cards that look to my eye amazing. And it wasn't until you zoom in 10x, 20x that you begin to see the little ripples or bubbles. You can't really tell what it is, but it's not as smooth as it looks to your eye from afar. But I mean, if you have to use a microscope or a magnifying glass to see it, I don't even know if it counts, to be honest.
Yeah, I get you. Well, those stickers right there, I don't mind those because they kind of are holographic, you know. I think that's kind of cool because you can like shine it in the light and get that little rainbow effect.
Right.
Clear ones that just, it looks like Scotch tape on top of the card. You know, those are the ones that I'm not a huge fan of. But I would definitely, I have Nolan Ryan, I think, with that kind of sticker, several autos of that. So I wouldn't shy away from that necessarily. I wouldn't go, right. I would prefer on card, just out of like my default is on card, but a sticker auto I'm not shying away from, especially if the card design kind of goes with the sticker. Sometimes the designs actually accentuate the sticker, or it doesn't look as bad as it would, you know, in other elements. So I think that's pretty cool.
Greg, I'm going to share this right here. There's very few instances where I feel like the sticker, you know, doesn't necessarily, you know, kill the card if it's designed around it. And I feel like that triple threads too, like it's kind of designed with the idea of that sticker being perfectly in that spot. So I think, there's a few instances where I can get by it,
Yeah, I don't diss a sticker auto at all, especially like I said, if it accentuates the card or if you can't really tell. Let's see what
there we go. Yeah, nice.
Oh, nice.
I think that this is a sticker auto. You can't really tell, and even if you can tell, it doesn't matter because the design of the card is excellent.
Mm-hmm.
And the sticker, I mean, the ink isn't cut off at the edge.
That's the big one too, Alan. The ink cutting off the edge. Tyler Glasnow's signature is usually really big, and every now and then his signature goes way off. And I'm like, dude, that kills it for me.
Yes, that definitely does it. I've seen a few Larry Birds that he's missing like the B.
Yeah.
And Upper Deck too, Alan, they have, I don't know if you've seen it, Greg, but they have a really cool hologram on their autographs. So if I take a picture with the light, or not the light, but the light at an angle, it's got a really cool hologram of authenticity within the sticker. So it kind of makes it a bit cooler if it's built in the design too. So I think Upper Deck's done a pretty good job of like taking the I don't want to say ugliness, but like you look at Panini where they just slap a mosaic auto on top of a mosaic card. I'm like, come on, guys.
Those are rough, man. Those Panini stickers are super rough.
Yeah,
So here's a PSA for everybody. I want to share this PSA.
That's a good call, Nate. Sage advice.
Just as a disclaimer, I don't recommend going into debt. No. Sometimes you can spot 100 or two that you might need to swap over to your checking from savings or whatever, but I don't recommend going into debt. So that's a solid piece of advice there. Don't go into debt because you're going to get stuck in the credit card loop. You'll be paying interest for the rest of your life for a Barry Bonds autograph. So don't do it.
Yeah. I mean, I couldn't agree more. I still have not yet paid 1 red cent of interest for any card that I've bought since I started collecting baseball. Let's just put it that way. Can't speak for my days in hockey. That was a little bit more the wild west. I was ripping boxes left and right, and those weren't good. Those weren't good business decisions, but they were a lot of fun.
It's still not.
Yeah,
still not.
It's fun in the moment, but then tomorrow you got to figure it out. So.
Yeah, that's no good, man. I think there's nothing that can top. By the way, this case is ugly as heck, so don't judge. But there's nothing that can beat an on-card autograph, man. It's just impossible to. I miss the old Upper Deck days for sure. My camera's not cooperating, but anyway, that was like $20. Like you can't pass up a $20 for a nice Cujo on card SP Authentic. So
yeah, SP, man. Back in the day, SP was my jam. And like when Authentic was hitting hard, man. Those were some awesome cards. Chirography, SP, they were killing it.
Yeah, they definitely still kind of do it, but it's just there we go. I was hoping Alan had that. Oh, that's so nice. Ooh.
I'm trying to get the hollow foil glow. This SP foil, they do a beautiful. I mean, everybody knows this. This is what we're missing is Upper Deck hollow foil. That's what's missing right now. Who wouldn't want this back?
I know. Just having that solid competition of cards, where everybody's fighting against each other to have the best cards. Those were the days. Those really inspired some mental capacity for card creation. So Ben Mercer brought up a comment. He doesn't mind sticker autos, but he likes the idea of the player actually seeing the cards, signing in person. I like that too. I like the. Sorry, I like the idea of the player having the card, signing it, and like sending it back or doing whatever, versus just a row of stickers. They just sign. It's like write-offs. I will not throw chalk. I will not. And so I like the idea of a player holding the card, signing the card. There's an intimacy level there with the card.
Yes.
Your player has done something to this card. His DNA is on this card, so it's really cool.
I mean, you would think if like Bonds was signing a whole ribbon of stickers, right? By the 300th sticker, you know, in that roll, you're just like, that's $1,000 right there. That's $1,000 right there. You know, he's not even thinking about the signature anymore. He's just forcing himself to get through it. I mean,
That's funny.
who among us would want to be signing autographs for money? I mean, that just
Yeah.
it sounds like it would be, you know, we would do it obviously because it's such easy money, but it would suck to do it.
Yeah, I think you get complacent and you get bored and you're like, I got to do another sheet of stickers. You know, it's like just a hard thing to process.
It's just like grading papers, dude. It's just like, oh god,
yeah,
make it stop.
I've heard of players who had their like mom sign for them or their friends. Sign for them.
RoboPen. You remember the RoboPens?
Yeah. Yes, I do.
Well, I think Dak Prescott. I think he was the one doing the RoboPen. He got in trouble for that. Can't RoboPen it, man.
Didn't Luka Doncic's mom sign Lulu or something like that a bunch of times? I remember hearing about that.
I heard about that on the grapevine. I don't know if that's true or not, but I heard about it.
I don't know if you've seen it, but there was a really cool Ed Belfour video where he's sitting next to a Panini rep and they're having a nice discussion, and he's talking about that he likes the Dominion cards, shows him signing it, and like I thought it was a really cool experience to see that. And if you were a Belfour collector to then get one of those cards, you're like, I saw him sign my card, basically. Like that's so cool, man. It would be really neat to see more of that kind of stuff, you know. For sure.
So yeah, Alan and I were talking about, you know, modern stuff and what it would take to really get people back into it and feeling like it was a well thought out plan. And you know, they're doing the little stickers on the game used, right?
Yep.
So that's really cool. I like that. But what if that sticker created like a short like video clip of that game? So you are watching like let's say it's Pete Alonso and he has 4 at bats, and you get to see all 4 at bats of that game where your jersey came from. How cool would that be?
Oh,
you know?
so sick.
Yeah, because I guarantee you're going to generate a lot of interest by showing that video clip. You know, you do your little computer thing, you log in, you put in your code, or you QR it, whatever
Right.
young people are doing nowadays, and you go to the video clip and you get to see like 4 at bats of your guy in the jersey that you just got, you know, and then you're like, whoa, like he hit a home run or he got it out 4 times or whatever.
Right.
You get to see what he did in your game used jersey card. That would be awesome. What do you guys think about that?
I think that's great. When I got my first one, I saw Glass now. It was his first game back after being out for like 3 months. So I went, watched the video of him pitching 3 innings. I'm like, this jersey came from that.
Yeah.
No way. But the like 5 steps I took to get to the video, people ain't got time for that.
No.
As we know, it's all about like, what can I have right now?
Right.
So, and what do you think, Alan?
Oh yeah, I would settle. I was telling Greg this. I would settle for a write-up. You know, I would settle for somebody telling me this is from this game. You know, because we don't even get that anymore. Sometimes there's not even words in the back that say that it's like necessarily worn by the player. It's just like we don't guarantee what player or what event this was worn at. We guarantee nothing about this. This is just a swatch of something. You know, that's where the modern trend is going, which is further and further away from those Donruss cards where they actually took a photograph.
That was so cool.
Yeah.
That was cool. So this is just one step further. I just don't know if we're in the correct era for that. I mean, I had a question for you guys. When you were collecting in the late 90s, were rookie cards as major and important to breaks as they are nowadays back then? Or was it more about the inserts?
So
You go first, Greg.
I would say that there was a importance on rookies, but it was more like a refractor rookie. You know, it was, so I remember just, for instance, I pulled the Kerry Wood International Refractor from Bowman Chrome.
What a card.
He threw 20 strikeouts, and I was the coolest kid at the mall show, you know?
Dang,
and so that card, it had significance, but it was like a parallel of the rookie card. So it had some significance, but I think a lot of the inserts took the spotlight for that era. but you also had collectors who wanted, McGuire rookie cards, and those were still hot, especially during the home run race. People were snatching up McGuire
Oh,
rookies.
geez.
Yeah, so that was very important. But you also had the insert craze. So I think it was probably, in my opinion, mostly inserts, but there was a rookie element, and it was more of like a refractor, parallel, and then the older stuff that people were chasing because they were living in the moment.
Well, the reason I asked, sorry, Matt, just to interject, was that, when Fanatics takes over, what kind of budget are they going to give their cards division, and how much are they going to allocate to? You pointed out it's going to be expensive to actually link. It's going to be more expensive to buy game used, and then to do the work to sort of link that jersey or that swatch to the actual player in the actual game. I think it's worth it, but my impression of modern day is that everybody's just ripping packs and boxes for rookie cards for the most part, not even really autographs or patches anymore. So if that's the case, if that's still the culture in our hobby, you wonder if it could ever go that direction.
Yeah, I think we all have agreed we want to see it like go back toward the inserts rather than the autographs and game use and rookies. I mean, Upper Deck, I keep close tabs on them, and they have this product coming out. And they added more rookies. I'm just like, gosh, like everybody must be going for that. That must be the moneymaker. But I want to see, stuff like this. That run for the cup. I want to see like really crazy inserts that are shiny and unique and have acetate. You know what I mean? Like do stuff like that. Like make that the hit of the box. And I know that they want to do that, but at the same time, like Alan said, he notices, we all see it. Rookie cards are king, and it just seems like, I don't know what it's going to take to get them to go away from that. But
yeah, you really need that competition. You really need something. So you're not just like, well, who's going to challenge us? We're the king, So it's like, what I say goes. Who's going to challenge me? Why put any effort into it? That's the Bowman. You get to see the parallel, the red, the orange, the green, the prism, the scope, and you're like, okay. I like Panini just because you see like the color bomb or the night, the downtown, the kaboom. Like that reminds me of the 90s. They don't have a license, but man, it reminds me of the 90s, all that cool stuff.
Man, those color blasts. I finally saw one at that card show in Washington, and it was funny. The first one, so I'm like, "Hey, can I hold this?" And he goes, "That's just like a knockoff." And I was like, "Oh man!" And put it back. Like, "All right, you're nice to meet you." And I finally held. I think it wasn't Russell. It was another quarterback. I can't remember who it was. Maybe Baker or something. But just to like see one in person, like, dang man, you're right, Greg. Like this is the stuff that I would collect if it wasn't $1,000 for a card of somebody. Like they're just so unique, man. And I do miss that. I do miss that for sure.
Definitely.
But at the same time, Upper Deck has talked about they want to try to do that. It's just rookies are king still, So thankfully, I just got to sit back and wait for all the cool flurry inserts. It just takes like a month,
Yeah, just wait it out. Like sometimes it's best to wait it out a year. I've paid $50 for a salmon that it ends up being $19 in a year.
That's true. I just had one more thing to add to the jersey thing, and maybe this is something Fanatics can do, Alan and Greg. I don't know what your thoughts are, but these two right here, I've talked about this card many times. It's probably the coolest patch I'll ever own, but this is a game use pad. These both came from this, like this picture is him wearing this jersey, and that patch is from that part right there. And that is the inside of that pad right there. So using jerseys and other gloves and bats from specific events, all-star, practices, all-star games, the World Baseball Classic, like stuff like that, where a player is playing in very specific events. I think that is an avenue they can go, because not only do I see him wearing the jersey that I got this from, but to also go and watch the highlights. And like, if there's the jersey that he's wearing, there's the piece that I got. Like that is the stuff I think they can go with, as opposed to, the sticker thing is a perfect idea, but we both know that not every game used is going to have that. So maybe lighten up the game used and use ones game used from specific, like put the player on the card wearing your jersey. Like if it's Pete Alonso's 3 home run game, have him hitting a home run and have that be the jersey, you know, like really go to that level of detail. But I'm just wishing right now, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, that would be awesome to have the actual jersey on the card. That way you could see like what part of the patch or what you're looking at versus just some random picture somebody took and they just posted it on the card, you know?
I mean, I agree with you guys. I think this was a missed opportunity. I don't know how expensive it would have been to actually get a photograph of Bonds hitting his 500th home run. But for the cards that commemorate each of his major home runs, I don't think they do. They just sort of give him credit. They at least take a picture of sort of the right jersey that he was in when he hit the home run. But I mean, it would be so much cooler. I would look at this card so much more if this was an actual picture of his, you know, backswing when hitting 500th home run. And it is, because I compared it to, you know, footage of him hitting it. I was there at that game and it's just not a picture of it. So it's a cool card still, but it would be 100 times cooler if it was actually the 500th home run.
I agree, dude.
Yeah, definitely. Nate says photo match game use relic for the win.
I don't know how people do that. People do that. I don't know how. You have to look at one tiny mark on. How do you photo match a jersey or a patch card to an actual uni?
You've done that, haven't you, Matt?
A few times, yeah. I mean, it's tough though because sometimes Fleury will be in his baby blue picture, but the jersey is not that. So the SP game used are the only ones that use the Winter Classic, the All-Star Game, and some other special event, and they put the actual picture on the card, and so that makes it easy to do that. But I guess for me, if it was baseball or with Tyler Glass now, he looks the same on every card, but where for a hitter, like if it's Yelich, for instance, and he's like in a post home run pose, if I looked at all the home runs he hit and away jerseys or whatever, it would still be hard to pinpoint. It would almost be impossible unless they slid and got themselves dirty in a certain pattern. And that's the exact same pattern I mean, I don't know.
Well, no, I think piggyback, like if we combine all these ideas, use the photo that the game used memorabilia came from, use the photo for the card and have that actual game used piece on there, and then put your little sticker on top of the game used so that you can watch the video clip of it. And now you've created some intimate involvement with this card, because I'm going to look up the card. I'm going to see that this is the jersey that was actually used on the card. You've created a fan. You know, you've created, like, how are you not going to be a fan after going through that experience?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, and don't you think, Alan, if they were way harder to find still, like go back to the 90s, late 90s, early 2000s pack odds, like a jersey every 4 or 5 boxes? I mean, how cool would that be? Then even just a little napkin piece with the authenticity sticker, like Greg said, picture of him or her from the game. Boom, you've got a card that everybody will want again.
Yeah. And so Ben just said part of the issue might be the guaranteed hits per box. I miss the days of 1 in 721 odds. Sometimes you open a 90s box and hit nothing. That's what makes it exciting. How many times have we done that? Hit nothing.
So many times now for those group breaks. It's almost appalling how few hits come out of those.
That case of Upper Deck, you remember that, Alan? They had a whole case of like 99 Upper Deck. There was like one good card in the whole case.
Yeah, that happened.
I don't think you're ever going to see the Griffey Mantle autograph pulled from a pack of 94 Upper Deck, given how that went down, how they hid those from people. So all the dealers already took those and opened them and sold them off one by one already. So that doesn't help things. But you can have that level of rarity and still have a fun break. Just look at Ultra, right? Ultra is a fun break no matter what. You get a couple of inserts, even if it's a weak box. You get a couple of really cool inserts, a couple of gold medallions, at least.
But that goes back to making the cards fun to look at.
Yeah, right.
You got to make the cards fun to look at. You can't just have the red, orange, blue. You got to have different inserts that are fun to look at. You pull like a Back to the Future, and you got your, Rawhide, and you got your home run kings and RBI kings. Those
Yeah,
are
dude.
fun. Those are fun cards. Do you remember the Ultra card? It had like a pitcher, and he had like how to throw a curveball, how to throw a fastball. Like, those are awesome cards.
Well, and remember when we broke that box of Ultra? Like we had so much fun. I mean, we had great luck, but like we were so stoked to pull, like you said, the Rawhide. I'm like, this is a $3 card, but how cool and unique this is. And dude. Oh, and even the gold medallions, one per pack. Like you always got something that was unique and cool. Yeah.
I love the gold medallion so much. I mean, that's the thing. It's like it doesn't even have. It's rare still. It's hard to hit as a little kid, some of these cards, but I mean, you can still get a couple a pack, a couple a box, and there's just something to be said for Fleer. I think it's my favorite.
You got the
I love that card.
That one's fuzzy.
It's furry on the outside. You guys described this to me for years, and I just never went around to get it, and finally I did. And
did you actually feel it?
Yeah, it's felt.
Yeah,
the black border is felt. There's a faux wood background in the silhouette, and then cardboard foil board.
It's got a little bit of everything. That is like the Cheesecake Factory of cards.
Yeah,
that is a video title that needs to happen in the future. Somebody please do that. Oh, sick.
That is a good card. I love that card. I think I have Andrew Jones in that one.
Yeah. That's
so really quick. We'll recap. Chris asked, "What's the story on the '94 Mantle Griffey bad correlation?"
Oh, quickly. It was revealed by somebody who was in the industry on one of the major podcasts that the sticker on outside the box, inside. So there's one per case, and so the sticker was in a different location on the box that contained the dual autograph or the single autograph. So the dealers or even the distributors could pull that box before it even went out to LCSs, actually. So the chances that you would pull one yourself, almost none, because any LCS dealer would know, just because that's their livelihood, that would be the box to keep from customers. So that's why I've never heard of anybody pulling one before. Like I've never met somebody who's pulled one, but they're out there. There's like thousands of them out there. So
yeah, that's craziness, man. That's like a shot in the gut, right?
Just such a bummer, man. For such a unique card like that.
Yeah, I know. So
sucks.
I want to switch routes really quick because this has been on. This is like my number one topic. I got it on my list because it's such a monumental thing. Somebody, Stavros, who is a Greek man, he pulled a Bonds PMG from a yard sale for $60.
Oh, jeez.
What is this real? Is this real information or is this fake news? Like a Bonds PMG, a Pudge Legacy, the Gallery of Heroes, like some of the Gallery of Heroes, Frank Refractors. He said he got everything for $60. What? How? Tell me. Talk to me about this.
My understanding was he didn't even know he had that card. It was actually stuck behind the base. So it was just a dual stacked penny sleeve. And so then he just pulled the card out, and the PMG was stuck behind it. And you just wonder, I mean, we know that Nate did a great response video to our contest, which we're still going to be running, right, until we get a few more responses. But one of his points was, and we'll dedicate a whole show to this because it's fascinating, but where are all the great cards? Like, where are they? And one of those cards was in some random person's box who had no idea what they had. Like, who had no idea at the time what they had. They were just like, oh, this is cool. It looks different from the base card. Let me just put it in the same penny sleeve as the base card. It's a variation. And it's been just sitting there for how many years? Like 25 years?
Like 2 decades?
Yeah. And then suddenly it comes to market, or it doesn't come to market. He's going to get it graded. Suddenly, of course, another raw copy pops up from that famous Bonds collector. And that card is going absolutely nuts. Matt, have you seen this card?
Is it on eBay right now at auction?
It's on eBay right now. It's already at like over $7,000.
Is it the 98 as well?
The 98 raw. Yeah.
So, that's amazing, man. And you have that gold, the select gold there, the certified gold, right? And that that's the only one out of 30 that anybody's ever seen.
Where are the 29? We got to dedicate an episode to this. But
for sure.
I was talking to another collector, and I told him someday there's going to be 6 mirror golds that come to eBay all at the same time, and I'm going to be like, my card sucks, man. It's like not nearly as good as I thought it was. Because whenever you see another one, you're just like, oh, well, okay. I'm not the only one that has it. It's not.
You're the first one to see one though in like decades. It seems like so that will never go away. Right.
Yeah. Right. Well, no, I mean, of course, I'll treasure that card, forever. But there will be a pang when 6 show up on eBay all at the same time, and that's going to happen someday. So we'll just see when that happens.
Will it be worse than when the 10 Prime Choice Reserve Tim Salmons all show up like back to back to back? I don't know what's worse.
I know where those cards are. They're in the trash can.
Yes.
They're in the dumpster fire in the trash, and they're burned forever.
The bonds, the A-Rod, all of them.
I mean, 25 bonds have to be in collections by high-end collectors who bought those cards at the time or soon after, I would assume, because the boxers are so expensive. You're not even throwing away the base cards, I don't think, at that point.
I just wanted to be known. I was the owner of that bonds card for like a month.
That's true. Could have done anything with it that you wanted, and you decided to send it to me. So that was great.
I owned that card for like a month.
I held a Red Crusade for 2 seconds in my hand. I will say that for 2 seconds, from one box to the next, and that was it. And then it was gone. So Alan knows what card, of course, I'm talking about. So that was I didn't even want to look at it. I was just like, just get it out of here. Because that was a lot of card in one little package for sure. Woo.
I mean, today one of the big A-Rod collectors landed his Red Crusade 10 of A-Rod. Did you see that?
That must be Matthew a little bit.
That's Matthew. But that's the second A-Rod collector in the past 2 months who's got a PSA 10 Red Crusade in their collection. Who deserves it? They've been lifelong fans, lifelong collectors. But it's just like, it's insane to me.
Well, the same guy had them both, though, as from what Jeremy told us. So Jeremy bought his, and then that guy said, hey, I actually have a second one. And then Jeremy told Matthew about it. So it's nice to see collectors helping each other out like that. And it's nice for me, too. It's an exercise to make sure I have no regrets. I'm like, yeah, cool. Because I wouldn't be able to buy it now anyway. So it's nice to know that it's good they're going to collectors that are huge fans of A-Rod. And Matthew and Jeremy both have otherworldly collections of those guys, or of him. So pretty cool.
It's cool to see the card, definitely.
Oh yeah. Well, we all remember the salmon red, man. It's probably the most excited I've ever been of a card that's not mine. Like nervous, like watching the auction end. So yeah, that's cool.
That was a day.
My bid was, it's a good thing I didn't have to pay $700 more or whatever you said.
I bid $900 on that. I would have been in debt.
Get the credit card out.
I would have been a bad day. But speaking of mirror gold, Alan, what have you got that's close to the mirror gold?
Oh, it's on one of my videos. I guess I should have taken it out because we said we were going to talk about it. But I got the mirror blue, which is out of 45. And it's a guy on the Facebook group, Casey, who reached out to me. Apparently, he was also the guy who sold one of the PSA 10 Crusade Reds, I believe, of A-Rod. I'm not sure, but he had some sick cards of a lot of players he doesn't collect. He collects Jeter, and I worked out a deal with him, and it was pretty cool to get it in hand. I was shaking a little bit because I actually didn't think that I was gonna get it. The bonds prices have actually come down a little bit in some areas, so that is a relief. But I still didn't think I would, just because they don't come up very often. There's only 45 of them. They're not as renowned as the mirror golds, so people don't put them up as often because they're not as big money, right? But they still go for a lot when they do come up because 2 or 3 guys really want it. So I was really lucky to be able to work out a deal behind the scenes and not have to sort of fight for it and win with brute force. And that means now that I have the full rainbow of the gold, the blue, and the red mirrors.
Well, now you got to get the artist proof, the base, the certified red, and the certified blue.
Oh my God, yeah, and those are impossible pulls. Like I saw an entire box of Select Certified 96 opened, and I think there were just 2 reds and a blue. Not even mirrors. There's just that's it. That's all there was.
Yeah.
And that was $1,000, $2,000 down the drain. I don't remember what it was. A lot of money.
So, go ahead, Matt.
No, I was just gonna say it helps you appreciate some of those cards when you don't see them ever get pulled in boxes nowadays.
I mean, surely they're certified blue, certified red, artist proof, and base. What's that going to cost? $75?
Yeah.
Yeah.
At most. So I mean, I don't actually have the rainbow, but you're right. The way I think about it is the cards that are going to break me are in my possession now. So the other ones, I can find them anytime, and that's kind of amazing. You know, modern technology and eBay and how the technology has progressed is amazing, because if we were in the 80s or 90s, it would be really, really hard to find a lot of this stuff like at your local card shop. I mean, you may never see a mirror red of your player.
No. Now, if the internet didn't exist, most of these cards that we have would never be in our mental picture, because we would be at the mall show being like, why can't I never find this card? How can I find this card? Emailing Beckett, sending letters to LCSs in just hopes to try to find this stuff. But without eBay, Facebook, all this stuff, we wouldn't have 75% of our collection.
Yeah. You'd have to clip a physical advertisement out of the back of a Beckett.
Yeah.
Use your rotary phone to dial it up, leave a message on the answering machine at the dealer, and hopefully he will pick up and call you back and pay the long distance charge to do it. So that is what would have been required to like scour the earth for something like that.
I just think of that prime choice reserve, Greg, and think about like the people that had to go through for it to get back to you. I mean, that there's no way that happens without the internet. A card like that, there's no way.
Yeah, I made a video recently. I'll post it up soon, but it was just talking about how just word of mouth can get you a card. Just people like listening to you, establishing friendships and relationships.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just having just that word out there, because without Alex, I don't have a prime choice reserve. They're all burned. There's only one that exists, and I have it.
Yeah.
Fun question for you guys. Oh, go ahead, Alan. You go first.
No, I was just gonna say the name. Without KC, that's what he goes by on Facebook, who said he watched all of my videos and all of the Essential Credentials podcasts, and I'd never spoken to him even one time until the Mirror Blue came up, and he found a way to get it to me, and I'm always appreciative. It's in my video that I recorded just about that card. You can't say enough about the connections you make and how important it is to enhance your collection. I mean, that's just the part where you want cards and you'll do anything you can to get them. And then you realize, just making friends and talking to people, they will just land in your lap sometimes. Like you don't talk to somebody, you don't talk to random people because you're trying to get cards. There's almost no way that anybody has anything you want. So you just talk to them because you could talk cards for hours with strangers. And then suddenly something just lands in your lap.
Yeah.
Right.
Sometimes you just want to talk cards and it ends up going somewhere and you didn't expect it. And that's just the serendipitous nature of life, just the way it goes sometimes. And that's awesome about this hobby, because everybody's looking out for one another. Because you share that passion. You're talking cards. You don't get to talk cards to everybody in your daily life. So the moment that you do, you have that connection where you're like, man, like, if I find this card, I'm going to tell him. I do this all the time. I'll go on eBay. I have 132 save searches. So I'm always like 20 times a day looking at my save searches. Something pops up with Tom Glavine, boom, looking at Tom, send it this way. Javi Lopez, boom, sending it that way. You got Barry Bonds, boom, sending it to a few people. You're just trying to help out every collector because you want them to have the card, because it's just a pay it forward in my mind. You pay it forward because someday somebody's going to find that salmon that you need and they're going to send it to you, and it just works that way. So I try my best to just send out links and talk to people as much as I can just about cards, because that's the connection, that's the roots. You talked about it, Matt. Just going to the national, talking to people versus looking at cards. It's creating the connection. That's what makes it fun.
Definitely. I was just kind of curious, like thinking back to when we first all started talking. Do you guys remember your first deal, or not deal, but like card that arrived in your collection when you really kind of realized like, hey, this is the best part of the hobby, like making those connections. this guy knows a guy who knows a guy that has a card that you would like, and they can tell that you love collecting that player. They'd love for it to be in your collection. Do you guys remember what that card might be, or one of them? Trying to think.
Not
I
all.
mean, I can't think of the first one. I can think of a lot of examples, but not the first one. That's hard to do.
I can think about like a purist, and that brings me to the Brilliance 24 karat, where he was like, "Dude, don't spin that. That's not what the card's worth."
Yeah.
He wanted me to have the card because I liked it more than he did. You know, the 24 karat. That springs to mind just because he could have price gouged me as much as he wanted to, but he chose not to. He actually said, "Actually, don't give me that much. It's worth less than that. I want less," and that was awesome.
Right. There's been definitely a few people. I like where they say this, where it's a pretty big card, and they're like, "Look, this is what I paid. That's all I want from you. I don't need what maybe the market's value is. I paid this much. This is how much I have into it. Just give me that much, and you can have the card." I mean, that right there is huge. You know, when you're going after all the cup cards, because those can be quite extensive to the budget. So I had a guy who had 2 really nice flurries, and he's like, "Look, I spent this like 4 years ago. Just pay me that." And I was like, "Yes, I will do that." So
Yeah,
that's a big
rare,
one.
right? I mean, I've done that. I've done that for people, but it's not. You don't do it often. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
It has to be the right time. I mean, sometimes there's serious dollar amounts we're talking about here, right? If you're just talking about how much you paid for it, maybe it's $100, maybe it's worth $1,000 now. You'd be walking away from hundreds of dollars sometimes making that decision, and people do it, and we've done it. But it's a rare thing. So when it happens, it's special, and you remember it.
Right.
And that applies to the mirror blue that I got as well. But one thing I thought of as you guys were talking is that now when I'm on Facebook and I see a card pop up of anyone from the 90s, my mind I don't even see the player anymore. I just see the player collector. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm like, oh, that card is available, and immediately your mind goes to which collector collects this guy.
Oh,
So
yeah.
there's in our minds, you know, like it just solidifies over time if you show off enough cards. Like, oh, this is the Cal Ripken guy. This is the Frank Thomas guy. So I think that's really cool too. And people have said that about me. They say that when they see a Bonds card, they're just I get a bunch of texts from people whenever a Bonds card comes up, and very appreciative of that.
No, that's part of the group. That's where the group comes in handy because everybody is a part of the community. So it's really cool. So moving on to the next topic, we've got a few topics that I'm trying to get through. I wanted to briefly talk about it's a 3-parter. Art, prints, books, figurines, starting lineups. Are you guys into those? Obviously, you see my collection. I'm into statues, starting.
Yeah, dude.
I got a few pieces of art. How do you guys? What are you doing?
I got a lot of art. I need to go grab one for sure that just came yesterday. But you and I had this discussion, Greg. You were telling me where those statues came from, and it's like a tough balance because you want to get everything, right? You want to get all the statues and pictures and all this cool stuff. So I went the art route, like actual pictures, whereas you went more for those displays in the cabinet, you know. Yeah, there you go.
I got all these from. I've never owned a starting lineup figurine like ever until my wife got them for me last Christmas, which is very cool because I don't have the space right now to display this stuff. It's part of the reason that there's a lot of hobby paraphernalia I haven't bought just because there's nowhere to put it. I had to go into a box right now to grab these, but this is what you're talking about, and I eventually want to get all of them because they are cool, and the McFarlanes too.
Yeah, no, McFarlanes are awesome,
dude. They're so sick.
Like you guys can't see, but this whole line right here is McFarlane stuff. This over here is my display, but on my desk I've got McFarlane. I've got 2 Barry Sanders, Jake Peavy, Sean Green, Frank Thomas, Larry Bird, Yasiel Puig. I got Andrew Jones. I got a ton of guys on the front desk.
And you take them out of the package like I do, right? Like you like.
Absolutely.
That's right.
They 100% come out of the package.
Let them breathe.
And look, none of mine have come out of the packet. I leave them in the box. I am that
Naturally.
personality who would do that. This character, for those of you who liked Transformers back in the day, in the 80s, it was Slag, but I think that's too edgy now. So they changed his name now to Slug. He's a Triceratops that turns into a robot. Are you kidding me?
Dinobots, baby.
Yes.
That
And
is
why would you ever want to play with that? Keep it in the box.
Yeah.
It even tells you, like, there's 12. Transformers are so much harder to play with now than they were when we were kids. There's 12 steps, and if you don't do the steps exactly in the order that you need to do them, like, it doesn't transform.
Oh,
So
wow.
like you have to do it oftentimes exactly in the order, and there's only one way to get there. And if you don't do it, then you're just stuck in robot form. You're stuck in Triceratops form.
Just imagine Alan coming into the kitchen, and on the table, his child's got that thing opened up, and they're trying to like do it's like horror on his face.
Oh yeah.
I missed step 7.
Yeah, no, it's ruined. It's like stuck in step 6, like all deformed, half transformed.
I need a refund. I missed step 7.
Jeez. Oh man.
Yeah. Like I said, I've got a few pieces of art. I've got a few figurines, collectible statues, but I feel like it's like one of those things that you branch out. I feel like once you start getting a good grasp on your player, you start looking at other things like pictures and jerseys and figurines and just cool odds and ends to have. Like I wanted my desk to be full of people that I collect and people that I think are really awesome players. And so that's where I went. But it didn't happen at first. It happened as a result of where my collection went in trying to find something else. So it wasn't my number one goal. It just became like a secondary goal after I achieved other conquests. I don't know. It doesn't work that way for everybody, but I imagine it's similar in nature to baseball card collectors.
Right.
Well, I think you also have your community of folks, presumably, who collect comic books and collect figurines, because you're serious enough about those sectors, I guess, or those things where it helps to bounce ideas off somebody. Like I would not be able to advise you on a purchase of a figurine. I don't know nothing about it. Same with comic books, but I could talk all day about cards. And so for me, I haven't branched out yet, really. But I know it's going to go there because I'm as I leave the 90s, you're kind of like, what do I do now? Do I collect autographs? They're all like $1,000 now. Like, what am I supposed to do? Just $1,000 a pop, or just sit at home, and twiddle my thumbs? Right. I don't like that very much.
No. And that's I recently posted a video. I got some Martina Hingis stuff. So that's where I'm at in life right now is Martina Hingis, I'm just getting into, I want to get some cards of people that I just liked, throughout the course of my life. Right. I like Shawn Michaels. I like Roddy Piper. I like Martina Hingis, Larry Bird. I just want cool cards of all the people that meant something to me throughout the course of my life. It doesn't necessarily I don't need 2 billion Tim Salmon cards. I'd like to do that because I'm a super collector, but when it runs dry, I get a Frank Thomas, I get a Martina Hingis, a Barry Sanders, a comic book. It's just I want to have cool stuff that just I enjoyed from childhood, and that's what it always ends up boiling down to is what did I like as a child? Because when I see that kind of stuff, Wolverine, Deadpool, Catwoman, Barry Sanders, it all stems from like the memories from childhood. I have some modern people. I like Ronald Acuna, but I don't have that same connection as I do with Barry Sanders, Tim Salmon, Frank Thomas. It's just somebody that I enjoy watching now. I watch the White Sox currently, Tim Anderson, Yoan Moncada, but as much as I am a White Sox fan, I still don't have that same connection from the childhood days, and I think that's why it's important to pass it along to the kids, because they're going to grow up and want to collect Mike Trout and, all the current players, because
J-Rod,
right.
Julio. Yeah.
Right. They're going to want that. They're going to be into that. So it's important to pass that on to the kids.
Well, you asked me would I pay $400 for a Gillian Anderson autograph? Hell yeah, I would. If it's a nice card, or if it's on one of the comic books that her character Dana Scully from the X-Files appears on, or David Duchovny, or Captain Picard from Star Trek: The Next Generation. Any of those shows that are core memories that are a part of me and that I will never get tired watching, even now. Yes, I would definitely go for cards of any of those actors, and I wanted to branch out to comic books, so I think the first 3 that I'll have to branch out to are Transformers, Star Trek: The Next Generation, and X-Files. My 3 favorite shows as a kid.
I've seen you mess with some Transformers stuff. I personally like X-Files. I got some X-Files stuff here and there, but having those kind of cards and having those pieces of toys or collections in your personal collection, it's just a fun thing. It's just fun to do.
Variety is a good thing, man. When you can get stagnant collecting Tim Salmon and Fleury and Bonds all year, you got to mix it up. You got to.
Yeah, that's I highly recommend finding a person in every sport that you're connected to, because that way you can just pass it along throughout the year. Comics or hockey, baseball, basketball, football, whatever. It just keeps it fun, because you do it for 3 months and then you move on to the next one, and you cycle it up and you just stay fresh.
Right. That kind of keeps the burnout from happening too. I for me, like you said, Greg, moving on to something else, to like not always have cards on Instagram. As you know, I'm on there a lot more than you guys are. I'd say just spending a lot more time doing that as opposed to the Facebook group, because I'm not doing baseball. But one thing I noticed when I first hopped on there was how big the art was in hockey. There was a lot of very unique and talented people out there that just did hockey art. And by the time I collected T-Bone, I'm like, I think this is an avenue I want to go down as like a side collection. But just meeting the people was cool. And, I've got this from Brendan Schumacher. He's 20 years old in college. He does amazing work, and being able to promote him and some of these other ones behind me. But the one I have in front of me recently, I found a guy, he's in India, and he did a goalie one. And I'm like, I've never seen anything like it. And it almost looked fake. Like, I'm not going to lie. I was like, this can't be real. Like, it's a print. And I said, hey, his name's Prince Raj on Instagram. So would you do one for me? So it took about 4 months to kind of go through the process, get it here. And I finally got my frame yesterday. And
okay,
here it is.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
yeah. So that is pencil. And it's
wow.
I swear it's drawn. I swear it's legit. It's the best piece of art that's been drawn with pencil like this that I've ever seen.
Oh,
and
my
with the black background. I mean, it's incredible.
That's pretty detailed, man. That's awesome.
That's sick. Are you saying the shading and everything is just a regular pencil?
Yeah, yep, it is. And the thing, he had done some other ones where like the outline of Fleury or the goalies had this white kind of fade to it. And I wanted it to like blend right into the background. So I chose the finals mask and the stadium series picture, even though we didn't start this game. I just loved the smile. I thought those went together really well. And I mean, the detail on this thing is nuts. So yeah, I actually got hit up by that news station that did the little segment on my Fleury collection. Like, we got to know who your artists are that you buy from. So I was able to kind of promote them a bit. And to be honest, that's been the side thing that's been really cool is when people ask about them and you're able to get them out there and spread the word, and people are ordering stuff from them. I'm like, dude, thank you so much. I love their art. I think that's been kind of a side thing for me is helping these, maybe lesser known artists get promoted. And so that's been really cool. But yeah, that thing, the frame came yesterday, and I've just been staring at it. I don't know where to put it yet, man, because I got this whole wall here, but I don't know how to organize everything.
That's the biggest problem is having too much stuff. You're like, where do I put all my stuff? I can't buy any more stuff. It's easy to put a card in a box, but when you buy something big, I've run out of like book space.
Hey, you can fit another one in that corner there, but then the door can't open, right? So
it's done.
Oh man, yeah, that's fun though to see. I've always been interested in since I got into this hockey art, seeing all your guys' side stuff. Like, we all know about the cards, but seeing your interests elsewhere is pretty cool. And especially with Greg, Martina Hingis, that was not what I was expecting to watch this morning when I was getting up for school, but it was cool because I'm like, well, Greg is gonna really go down all these different avenues and keep it exciting.
I threw a Jordan in there, right?
Yeah, that was cool. I was
Yeah.
not ready for that either. But I do want to give Ryan Southern Car Collector a shout out. He did a really good job of like saying just how different all three of our videos are and how he knows what to kind of expect, but in a good way with all three of us, with Alan being very meticulous with the, card and how it looks when it's graded, not graded. A lot of people probably don't do that. So that made me think of it when I watched his videos. And then with Greg, I'm like, I don't have the money, but should I look for a Phillip Rivers autograph? And should I look for, so it's been really cool to hear people are enjoying the variety and the content, and
That's the goal. That's the goal, to make everybody happy and provide something for everybody.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
So let's show off some cards real quick, guys.
Okay.
I have a 98.99, I think 98.99 SPX.
Okay.
Okay.
It's a Radiance.
Ooh.
This thing has a bit of a story too, doesn't it?
Yes, it was in a straight 4 screw down, big old case. And I had to mess up the top, as you can see right here. It peeled off, and it also peeled right here while I was trying to get all 4 screws and pop it out of the case. So this is out of 100. This is the SPX. It's the top prospects, which I'm not super familiar with, but it was out of 100, and it's one of my favorite SPX cards because it's obviously a Red Wings fan hand. But I thought I'd show some hockey, being the resident hockey fan that I am.
Well, I was going to ask you, Greg, you really enjoy the salmons too, which we've seen in your past videos, but do you feel like it's the hockey a little bit better? Do you like that it's different, or do you still think baseball killed it in the 90s?
Salmon doesn't have 99.
He has 98, right?
Right. He's got 98, but he doesn't have 99. So I'm lost. I'm rudderless in the water because I don't have any direction to go because salmon doesn't have a 99. So that's why I picked Shanahan for that particular set.
You said that was 99 2000, right?
No, that's 98.99.
98.99. Okay, so the next year they didn't do a top prospects, but they did SPX, and this is I believe it's the Radiance. Yes, this is the Radiance out of 100. Let's see if it'll grab it. There we go. Kind of like a checkerboard.
Kind of shine.
Yeah, that's definitely a bit different. This was one of the first Tebows I bought because, you think of like XPX, how can I cross over from A-Rod to goalies, and so SPX, those Radiance cards always caught my eye, and they have one-on-ones of these that are purple. I've only seen one of some player, and they're just spectacular. But anyways, yeah, that was so cool. It's his only SPX card that he has, so I had to run out and grab it.
No, that's a really cool card. Got an atomic refractor time to it, to me.
Yeah, definitely. It's not like an overwhelming shine, but it's when I get it on that rotating display thing, it'll do some cool stuff. So I'll have to try that out.
Yeah, definitely. I want to see what that looks like.
You got it.
So I'm not going to be able to go in order chronologically here. I'm going to just jump ahead about 10 years. This is an Yzerman, Stevie Yzerman, that I pulled from a box of SPX myself back when I was collecting hockey. And I really do love the winning materials that come out of SPX. I wish
you pulled that.
I did. I pulled it myself. So
nice.
One of my best pulls in hockey.
Yeah, definitely. Yzerman is the man.
Yeah, I mean, I was pretty stoked about it. But I mean, I wish that baseball jersey and patch cards were more like compelling, because I would love to find some Bonds. Like the Giants don't have any pinstripes, so it's hard to find a multicolored jersey patch,
right.
Jersey swatch. I don't even know if one such thing exists, but I actually prefer, in many cases, a multicolored jersey over even a multicolored patch. That's just something that I really love in hockey that I haven't been able to find for Bonds in baseball.
Yeah, no, baseball seems to be one of the harder places to find a jersey game used versus the white standard issue napkin cloth. I've seen so many cool hockey patches, basketball, football, but baseball, man, they seem to be lacking in a lot of stuff unless it's the 101. But I'm not a huge fan of the laundry tags. It's like made in Nicaragua, and you're like, okay. Okay. I prefer like a legit like 3-color patch. Like give me something sweet to look at, this right here on my desk. Like give me that,
Oh, so sick, dude. And you can tell what part of the jersey it's from too, right? Like it's got to be his number.
Yeah,
That's so cool.
So that's the kind of stuff I'm looking at. I don't want to know that his jersey was washed and made in Nicaragua. I want to see the stitching,
I know what I'm finding for you for Christmas then, for sure. I don't know who it's going to be, but it could be Hingis, could be, some no-namer from Chicago, but
yeah.
That's
well,
funny.
So actually I've got these in mags. They're not rare at all. Not rare at all. 100% not rare. But because I like this set so much, it's the 98 SPX. This one is numbered out of 1750.
Wow.
And there's 1,750 of these cards. In this one, there's 2,250 of.
Man, that is so amazing for a card that has that many.
Yeah. These are spectacular cards. I put them in mags because I just like to look at them. And I look at my mag case so much that I figured this was a good place for them. So
yeah.
I'm a huge SPX fan, and it's evidence that I put them in the mag case. That's how much I love them.
Well, it's really interesting when I was like digging into, unveiling. Obviously, about the big flurry cards, right? You see everybody post the cut patch autos, blah, blah, blah. But like digging into his tougher to find cards, I was like, oh, he's got some SPX Radiance. So you see him listed on, trading card database. I'm like, oh, these got to look amazing, right? Well, Upper Deck went the route of jersey cards for it. They did do the nice foil, but like they just did the jerseys for it. I don't know why my camera is so grouchy sometimes. I'll start back here then. Yeah, so you can see it's got some good shine to it, but the jersey's cool because it's game used and everything, but I'll be honest with you, I don't need the jersey to have this be a cool card. No. So the next one they did was quite spectacular. But again, it's just a jersey card. So I don't know why they decided to go that route, but that's what they did. They went shiny, but the jersey's sitting there. And I keep asking myself, does it take away from the card? Would I rather have it look like Greg's, like have that jersey be a cool like stamp that said SPX Radiance or something?
Right.
Like
I get that. Game used are cool, but sometimes just the design of the card needs just like a cool stamp. Let's see what we got here.
This is at a 1750. It's SPX Spectrum. So
that's the one I just showed.
Okay.
Yeah, that.
And they had themes to them, right? Like that one's called like some sort of what is it, Greg? That set there.
So, but there's different themes. Mine was runs in a game, the power passion.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Is that power passion? Can you?
Let me see. It's Star Focus.
Star Focus.
Yes.
Okay.
Star Focus.
You had Star Focus. I had power passion. And that's what I liked because SPX had like just different subsets. It kind of feels like the 96 finest, where everybody had.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love the backs of these cards. I mean,
yeah,
we used to learn about sport from baseball cards, and this is fascinating stuff to see your players' place in history. Next to some major names. So. I mean, man, I miss cards when they used to have interesting stuff on the back.
But look at this. So this says 5 runs in a game. And, and in the back, it says Salmon made a franchise history in 12-1 victory over the Indians. Not only did he hit 2 home runs, but he also scored 5 runs in the contest.
That's
this
awesome.
Right here, 5 runs in a game.
Awesome.
So that's what the card is doing. It is showing you. Remember what we talked about? The game used jersey in the event. Like it's talking about this specific game, and the whole card is set up 5 runs. It's set up for that specific moment in time. That's how you do a card right.
Yep.
Well, and even though that's at a 1750, I'd much rather have that. Now this is at a 29, Greg, but like other than the cool hollow foil, this, I mean, cool looking card, right? There's nothing on the back. I mean, other than his stats and a little tiny blurb here, like I'd much rather have this be out of like 1,000 and have something cool about like making 35 saves or 40 saves in a game. Like that is the level that is missing in modern cards, not just
Absolutely.
Panini baseball, but even hockey. They just, and it's because I don't know why, really. I'm not going to go and assume, but I would much rather see what you just showed.
Yeah,
Any
$500.
day.
Right. You just showed me a moment in history about one of my favorite players, and the whole card is centered around that.
Absolutely.
And not to mention how shiny it is and the refractor like that's legit card enthusiasm right there. That creates a fan out of me.
It does.
Absolutely.
I mean, it just when I look at the stats on this, look at the names on here: Ricky Henderson, Paul Molitor, Tim Raines, Ripken, Boggs. I mean, these are
That's awesome.
monsters. Quinn, right? Like, you're just like, whoa.
Yeah.
So he scored nearly as many runs as some of those guys at this juncture in his career.
I see Tony Phillips. I got to throw that out there for Greg, Angels player.
Oh yeah,
I see him.
and Chili Davis, San Francisco
Billy
Giant.
Davis, yeah.
Angels as well.
Angels as
Yep.
well. Yep.
Dang, man.
And
That's
Harold
cool.
Kane. Yeah.
I would love to see more cards like that, like where Fleury stacks up with the all-time wins, save percentage, saves in a season. Like throw it all at me, even if they're cheap and $3 cards. Man, I'm going to eat that stuff up.
Yeah,
I love that.
absolutely. Alan, do you have the Shining Diamond 1 of 1?
Yes, I do.
I'm so glad you
One of
said
the-
that, Greg. It's like he's got to show it.
So this is the 1 of 1 here.
Okay.
And
Oh my
it's
gosh.
a gorgeous card.
Yeah.
This was from '98, I think, right? So this is a true 1 of 1. One of those stories where a good buddy of yours thinks of you, and Matt, when he saw this card from another collector, immediately texted me and said, "You need to." I mean, I was like, I don't know. I don't like that black stripe down the middle, and I don't. What is that big alien thing there? I don't think I might not even go for this card.
He tried to get a deal on this stinking thing, and the price was so low. I'm like, are you kidding me?
I got it
You've
for
been
just a
hanging
couple
out with Greg
$100.
too much.
It was like the first day of COVID or something like that. I mean, I
Yeah.
don't know what it was, but somebody felt like they had to sell out, and I was a fortunate recipient. This is one of my favorite cards. I never show this card off because it's such a huge card to me that I don't want to have overexposure to it.
Yeah.
So I show it off very rarely. But since today is SPX Day, there's no better time to show this card off.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm super jealous. I wish I had a salmon.
yeah, this is the 1 out of 100, and it's very unremarkable, actually, comparatively. Obviously, it's not even hollow foil in the bag. There's
No,
almost,
that's not the Spectrum. I think that's the
Radiance.
yeah.
Right?
yeah. So this is the cornerstones of the game. I'm not sure which parallel it is, but
I believe the 100 that you've got is the Radiance in
yes.
So that's why it's not fancy foil. That's not why there's no refractor finish, because it's the Radiance. None of the Radiance. It was all just gold. But the Spectrum, it had to be a Spectrum to be
This
the
year.
holographic.
What about the other years? Are the Radiances shiny in the other years? Like
So that's when they switched it up. You and I talked about this.
Yep.
They switched up and made Radiance the refractor like in the next year.
right. Yeah. So, anyways, that's my 1 of 1, guys. That's the only one I have.
So here's my best salmon. This is out of
Wow.
50.
Damn. Look at that hollow
Sick.
foil.
Oh gosh, that's so pretty.
I don't have the 1 of 1, but I do have this. And this
That-
was gifted to me because I invited somebody to the group.
Amazing.
I've seen one. I take this back. I've seen one other one besides this one, and it had some chipping on the edges. and this one was given to me because I invited somebody to the group. So that's just another example of why relationships and, you know, just being part of the hobby is so important, because it establishes those kinds of relationships to people.
I mean, I like mine, but that's spectacular. One of those cards that just knocks your socks off.
Yeah, it does.
Dang, dude. Yeah, they definitely did it right in 98. That might be one of the better Upper Deck baseball sets of all time, because every card in a pack was numbered. Even if it wasn't that shiny, everything was numbered. And
Everything, you're right. Everything was numbered. And opening a pack of 98 SPX was just pure enjoyment, because everything was serial numbered and everything just looked so phenomenal. It had like the stamping, you know, that embossed stamp. It had either like a Spectrum or a Radiance, and there was some type of amazing photography and design. You know, Ryan Fitzgerald said can't beat 98, and I agree. 98 SPX was pretty high up there in the list of amazing, awesome cards.
The way they do it now, they go with that whole like 6 packs per box, 1 card per pack format, and I get that they want to mix it up, but I gotta say, man, if they went with that design, which they do those inserts right now in extended, most of them don't look good, but the Radiant or Spectrum or Radiance, whatever they're calling them now, they look pretty good. But I would love to see the whole set look like that again. They could easily do it. I really do think they could do it again. So
absolutely.
Yeah. Anyway, awesome to see all those. Like, so much variety. SPX was so much fun back in the day, man.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So I guess that wraps up the episode. I just want to thank everybody. We're at 500 subscribers. Do the video response. We're giving away $25 in eBay gift certificate money. All you have to do is do a video response. Tell us what you want us to talk about, a cool card that you're looking at, and you could possibly win $25. It's like cash money. You can spend it on how you want, whatever card you want. It's so easy. Everybody can do it. A 5-year-old can do it.
I was thinking a caveman could do it too. So I mean, it can't be that hard, right?
You guys are underselling it. The ones we've had so far, they set a high bar. The folks who have responded have taken real time to think about what they were going to do. I mean, you could do a 15-second video, honestly, a 30-second video if you wanted to. But I mean, the ones we've seen so far have been spectacular. Some of my favorite YouTube episodes of recent time. Yep.
Yeah, for sure. I'm sure we'll see some more, right? We just got to keep spreading the word, and like we're doing on our videos, when you end videos, say something.
We're just trying to spread the word. Thank you guys for joining us. Yep. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Cards, talk about some really cool topics. We'll be back in 2 weeks. Hope to see you there. Join the crew. Peace out, guys.
See ya.
See ya.